What's going on, guys? I know that title reads a little bit hyperbolically and kind of clickbaity, but honestly, I believe it. Fathers have a moral obligation to dress well for their children, and I'm going to give you my two big reasons for that. The first one is that it teaches your kids consequences. I know how much I hated hearing that word as a kid, but it's true. Actions have consequences, and one of the things that is the primary responsibility of parents, and I believe is one of the primary responsibilities of dads, is to teach your kids about consequences. And whether they like it or not, the things that they wear have consequences in regards to the way that other people treat them, the way that they feel about themselves, the way that they're perceived, and myriad other consequences that can come from it. If your kids want to be able to fit in with other kids at school, it's a lot easier to do if they dress like the other kids. Same goes if they want to stand out. If they want to be able to be perceived as more trustworthy and more respectable to adults, then what they wear can go a long way towards that. Another thing is that it can help them understand this idea of communication and the consequences that come from that. One of the big reasons that private schools have kids that don't wear whatever they want, but they have them wear uniforms, is because of the consequences that come from the actual wearing of uniform. There have been studies that have been done that show that it helps kids to focus better. It decreases the kind of the status competitions that go on between the kids because they're not as focused on what the clothing is communicating, and so it helps kind of keep things focused on where they should be. So the big one is that it helps your kids understand and learn that there are consequences, and they can see that even in you as a father. They know that when their dad dresses a certain way, that there are consequences that come from that, and they can see other men who dress like their dad, whether that's on TV or out in real life or wherever it may be, and so they can see that example in you. And that's really the big reason for that, is because as fathers, as much as we try to teach our kids things through explanation and through stories and reading and all these other kind of direct methods, the biggest way that we teach our kids is through our example. One of the things that I've been experiencing a lot, I've got 2 young kids, is periodically my wife and I will hear them say things that sound very, very adult. My daughter a couple years ago would say, "Let's do it," and we didn't really ever know where that came from until I heard myself say it and realized that it came from me. My son does that now. Whenever he does something cool, he says, "Nice!" And it's because that's what I say when he does something cool. And so these aren't things that I'm directly and intentionally trying to teach my kids, but they're picking up on it because of my example. I can see the same thing that happens with my clothing and what I'm teaching them with that. So the other thing is this idea of intentionality. And this is one that is a constant theme throughout the site, throughout the channel, and it is one that I think that kids need to grow up with. It teaches them that you do things for a certain reason and you do things a certain way, and that intentionality, you want to know and control the message that you're communicating to the rest of the world. And so again, my kids see this. When I come out and I'm ready for work and I'm in a suit and a tie, my kids know that it's not time for me to play. I'm communicating to them that I'm going to go do something specific. When I come home and I change out of my work clothes and I put on something that's more casual, then I'm communicating to them that I'm ready to relax and enjoy being around them. If I come out and I'm wearing my gym clothes, they know that I'm going to the gym. But the thing that my kids really are starting to pick up on, and your kids pick up on if you have them, whether you know it or not, is I get treated differently by adults because of the way that I dress. And I treat myself and I hold myself to different standards because of the way that I dress. I like the way that I act when I'm dressed better. It doesn't mean that I'm in a suit all the time, but just that I'm dressed intentionally, things that are flattering and things that fit well and look good. So not only do I like the way that I act, but I like the way that other adults treat me better. And I want my kids to see that. I want my kids to learn that lesson and to see that example so that they can implement that themselves. Now, other people will try to tell you that it's vain or that it's shallow or that it shouldn't matter. Some of that may be ideal. It may be kind of a utopic ideal. But the reality of it is, it does matter. It does. And your kids need to see the reality of the world for what it is. They can always strive to make it a better place, but before they can do that, they need to see reality for what it is and adapt to that reality before they can do anything else with it. So, if you've ever been on the fence or if you've ever needed that kind of extra boost as motivation to dress better, just think about the example that it sets for your kids. I know for me, when I see dads wearing Mickey Mouse t-shirts and baggy jeans that fall all the way over their shoes, their posture, their body language, the way that their wives treat them, and the disrespect that their kids have for them, those kind of go hand in hand. Whereas if I see a father who dresses well, he's got confidence in his posture, he's got a commanding tone of voice, and he commands respect from the rest of the world. Usually I see a wife who looks up to him. I see kids who look up to him and respect him. And clothing and the way that we present ourselves is a big part of it. It's not all of it, but it's a big part of it. So if you want that extra motivation, I do think that you as a dad have a moral obligation to set the example for your kids and dress better.